In golf, there is a common phrase: it's not about how good you are, it's about how good is your bag. I think life is kind of like that too. Your focus shouldn't be on how happy you are. This is the wrong measure. Enjoying life only when you're happy is like only enjoying the top of a roller coaster, ignoring the climbs and the descents, focusing solely on 2% of your journey. Meaning and purpose are, at least I believe them to be, significantly more important than designing your life. Purpose doesn't just go away if you're having a bad day. It can drag you out of misery if you allow it to. This doesn't mean that you are going to have a permanent good mood, but with a mindset shift and some hard work, you can be content more often and miserable much less. The world is full of people who do exceptional things. Those who are being honest will tell you that the only difference between them and you is relentless commitment towards the goals that they define. To practice and near perfect their craft, whether it's sales, creation of media, athletics, engineering, or exploration. When Edmund Hillary climbed Mount Everest, he was asked why he did it. His answer was, because it was there. This was the first man recorded to stand on top of the world in 1953, and he did it for no other reason than because he could. And he wanted to challenge not just himself, but also humanity. This should tell you something, both about his character and the amazing things that you can achieve if you put your mind to it. When Neil Armstrong took mankind's first steps on the moon, his words were not for himself, not to proclaim the moon as his own accomplishment. Instead, he said the now infamous phrase,
"One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind."
He took the time to congratulate every man, woman, and child for their part. Even though this took place during a race between the US and Soviet Union, he didn't claim the US victory. He claimed an accomplishment for humanity. Today, with a war in Ukraine, you might expect very little communication between Russia and just about every other country on Earth. Maybe it surprises you to find out that floating above our heads, there still exists an international space station containing astronauts and scientists from just about every country you can name, as well as some that you can't, including Russians. Humanity's progress is larger than the politics of where you were born or choose to live. You can be sitting in your apartment in New York and direct message with people in Budapest. Communication has never been more accessible or convenient than it is today. For thousands of years, the fastest way to send information was to send a human to deliver it. So if the receiver was thousands of miles away, then you had to hope that your messenger was loyal, trustworthy, and able to survive the journey. Today, the longest part of sending a message is taking your phone out of your pocket. If this isn't enough, you can get on a plane and fly almost anywhere in the world, in many cases, just for a few $100s. It has never been easier, cheaper, or safer to see the world yourself, to visit new lands and cultures and learn the customs of new societies. People often use the phrase, "the world is your oyster," but almost never take the world up on its offer. You really can go anywhere and do anything. All it takes is hard work and commitment. Everyone is capable of achieving great things. Follow your dreams is supposed to be taken literally. You have to chase them, to hunt them down doggedly and refuse to give up no matter the cost. The world doesn't owe you, and your dreams aren't going to fall into your lap while you work part-time at McDonald's living with your parents. Pursue your dreams wherever they take you, and do whatever it takes to make them your reality. Work hard, be smart with your time and your money, find a job you can just barely tolerate, and take them for every paycheck that you can. Work as often as you can bear it, then work a little more. If your dreams still need more resources, find another job and continue to save. Live on rice and beans if you have to. Suffer now so you can thrive later. Your present is the shortest time of your life. Every moment, it leaves you while your past gets longer and your future shorter. If you are watching this, you are probably still early in life. If so, then your future is the longest part of your life. Are you really willing to sacrifice a better future for a more comfortable present? Humanity has overcome many obstacles in our short existence. Ice age, dangerous animals, volcanic eruptions, wars, plagues, and many points in history by our own current definitions. Humans have been an endangered species more than once. From just a few thousand all the way to 8 billion and still growing. During most of this growth period, we used technology and customs that would now be considered primitive and unsafe. Just imagine what we can do now. Our bodies have not meaningfully changed in around 50,000 years, but maybe our next phase of evolution is the technology we use, the medical care and physiotherapy that we can provide to keep our bodies healthy. Already, we are in essence using alien technology compared to even 200 years ago. What can we do with another 1,000? We are close to having the capability to be a multi-planetary species, to have colonies on other worlds, and maybe even other galaxies. This would ensure humanity's continuation if we are no longer able to remain home, on Earth, We could have entire solar systems, societies working together with a single goal in mind. Scientists discover more every day, and engineers create new machines every day. Collectively, we have infinite potential. The skies are not the limit. We can go as far as we want. All of us can achieve things beyond the wildest dreams of our ancestors. It might feel like today we are more divided than we have ever been. The mass civil wars or even nuclear wars could start at any time. While it's true there is division and social unrest, it is nothing humanity hasn't seen before. All through history, dating all the way back to the Romans and even before, there has been social disorder and conflict on huge scales. But we are still here today. I am still sat here writing this script and editing this video. You are here watching. You can go outside and walk to your local shop, your local park, your gym, cinema, or any number of places. Sometimes it feels like this probably isn't enough, and that you're being too generous and too hopeful. If you're anything like me, you probably highly value your anonymity. In a world with increasing surveillance, not just of criminals, as you are supposed to believe, but of every man, woman and child, governments and companies alike gather server farms worth of data daily, with almost zero due care or attention. They lose it in data leaks or hacks, and sometimes just sell it to the highest bidder. You'd much rather be left alone. Enjoy the peace and quiet away from the noise, with a small group of a select few that you choose to give your time and attention. I use flashy visuals and music on this channel because in truth, most people don't have the attention span to listen to this without them. They wouldn't click on the video if the title and thumbnail weren't catchy. A podcast or an interview would bore them. Luckily, there are plenty of people who make a lot of noise. They work as a distraction, allowing anyone who wants to have a slightly quieter life to disappear into the shadows. Simply by not being on social media, people will forget that you even exist, assume you moved away or died, and you should be glad that it's that easy. These individuals will take all the attention and keep you out of the spotlight, like the overly loud kid in school that would constantly have the glare of the teacher whilst you goofed off quietly. By now, you might also have noticed that this video isn't overly optimistic despite the title. It might have undertones of optimism, but it doesn't cross the threshold. In truth, I consider myself more of a realist, cautiously optimistic and perhaps slightly nihilistic. But reasons to be realist aren't as appealing of a video to watch. As I see, the truth is, the situation doesn't look good. It's pretty dire actually. The divides are spreading, the cracks in our institutions are growing, police forces aren't equipped to deal with the widespread crime and discontent that we all see daily. Those in positions of power are trying to fill their pockets and escape rather than take accountability for their negligence and corruption. Anyone seen going against this is silenced, imprisoned, and occasionally even murdered. Companies like Boeing continue to face no consequences for their action and the inaction that they sweep under the rug. Narcissism seems a growing trait. People only care of themselves, incapable of accepting thought or seeing character growth. In your personal life, you can point to those that you know that act this way. Nothing is ever their fault. The world is always against them. They refuse your help. They struggle to maintain relationships, are always full of excuses, and maybe they come from a different town or they left to go somewhere else. You can't run from your problems. They will follow you everywhere you go if you refuse to resolve them. You can equally probably point to people who are overly moralistic. Their opinion is the correct position to take, and to disagree is to stand against what's right. They take it as a personal offence that you dare to think for yourself as opposed to blindly agree with them. Maybe this is or was you at one point, but with some care and attention, you can keep yourself on the right track. Being part of the 1% is a frequent discussion point. You just have to do what the 99% aren't doing. This is not a new idea. You can be better than probably 90% of people just by exercising regularly, eating good food, maintaining good hygiene, and considering the way that you act and think. That's it. The bar is absurdly low, and to exceed it really doesn't take much. In 6 months, you can go from rock bottom to a fighting chance at excellence. If you can't be optimistic about humanity, you can at least find comfort in this truth. Not everyone can be saved, but you can create your own lifeboat and save yourself from whatever awaits everyone else. Designer clothes, cars, houses, holidays are to an extent pointless accessories. Just another way to keep up with the Joneses, to be better than the next guy without having to do or achieve anything. You're just taking on more debt, living a faker life, living closer to bankruptcy, failing to prepare for the future. One of Jordan Peterson's rules for life is to compare yourself with who you were yesterday, not who someone else is today. Simply, this means, who cares how many billions Elon Musk has, how attractive some celebrity's new partner is, how good at whatever sport some athlete is. Are you better than you were yesterday? If not, then why? There are endless possibilities to improve yourself, ways to work on your craft, learn new skills, develop your body, mind and character. What are you waiting for? You have all of the tools available, just pick them up. Stop putting off for tomorrow the tasks that you can complete today. Complete now. It is more difficult to remember to complete a task than it is to just do it. Don't make excuses. Who are you trying to convince? Be honest with yourself. Make it easy to do things that are good for you and make it difficult to do things that are bad. In the Bible, Jesus says, pick up your cross and follow me. This doesn't have to be literal to be useful, and you don't have to be Christian to make use of these words. Your cross can be understood as your sins, as your failures, the undesirable traits you possess, your stubbornness, impatience, lack of respect for authority, and willingness to cut off your own nose to spite your face. To follow him is to accept that it doesn't matter. The things that define you are up to you. What you put into the world is by and large what you get back. One way to look at heaven and hell is that both these places are on earth. Neither is somewhere that you go when you die, but instead somewhere you live your life. Make good choices, put positivity into the world, and surround yourself with good people, and maybe you find yourself living in heaven. Or fail to learn from bad choices. Remain miserable. Surround yourself with bad people, and maybe you find yourself in a living hell. The choice is yours. Nobody can make it for you. Thank you for watching.